This is a Sunderer. Some people call it the party bus. The Sunderer is available for all three empires. It's not the fastest vehicle in the game, but it's certainly one of the most important. The main reason is because it's a mobile spawn point and essential when assaulting an enemy base. You can also move up to 12 people, including the driver and max units, from one place to another. There are many other useful aspects to the Sunderer, like resupplying the troops or letting them change class, repairing and providing ammo to other vehicles, and of course, you can use one of the two weapons to kill enemies. Let's take a look at the basics. To spawn a Sunderer, you need to find one of the ground vehicle terminals. Besides the ones at the warp gate, every base, even the small ones, has at least one at your disposal. Look for this icon to find it easily. If it's broken, you can repair it with an engineer, and if it belongs to another faction, you can hack it with an infiltrator. If you haven't invested any certification points in the Sunderer, you're pretty limited. But you can still use the default weapons, and it's still a good way to move many people at the same time.
Okay.
Of course, you can always choose to be a douchebag. When you're in possession of a vehicle, you can access the vehicle management by pressing page down on your keyboard. So, let's take a look at what upgrades to invest in first. I recommend beginning with the upgrades that only cost 1 cert each. Start by putting 4 points in the two M20 Basilisk guns. By upgrading the two default weapons, you increase the maximum ammo capacity from 450 to 550 rounds and unlock the possibility for the gunners to zoom by pressing the right mouse button. Once you've unlocked the upgrades, you have to attach them to your weapons. Make sure to remember that with every upgrade you unlock. After you've upgraded the weapons, it's time to invest in the acquisition timer. With only 1 cert, you'll be able to lower the spawn time with 90 seconds. That means that the original 20-minute timer is reduced to 18 minutes and 30 seconds. Now it's time for the first big upgrade. 50 certs unlocks the Sunderer Advanced Mobile Station, which is usually referred to as the AMS. This magical feature turns the party bus into a mobile spawn point. Just like the weapon upgrades, you'll have to apply your new ability or you won't be able to use it. Now that you can deploy your Sunderer, you can really help out your team while getting free XP when people spawn on it. Be careful where you place it though. Most people know that a deployed Sunderer has the potential to be very dangerous, so if it's easy to kill, enemies will surely do so. Try to put it behind cover or under a roof if possible. Anything to make it harder to take out. You might have noticed an error message when you try to deploy your Sunderer. That's because you have to have some distance to other deployed Sunderers. If you look at the minimap, you'll see a transparent circle. You have to deploy your Sunderer outside of that circle. Besides weapons and appearance, the Sunderer has 3 slots where you can select upgrades. You can choose between utility, defense, and performance. At any given time, you can have 1 upgrade applied in each slot. Let's take a closer look at the different categories. The first slot is utility. If you followed my guide, you might already have invested 50 certs in the AMS. The Sunderer is more than a mobile spawn point though, and depending on the situation, it might be worth selecting something else. If you're anything like me, you've tried to drive your Sunderer through an enemy shield, only to realize that you're stuck outside. If you equip the gate shield diffuser, you can drive straight through by pressing F on your keyboard. The smokescreen is good for two reasons. When activated, your vehicle releases smoke, which makes it harder for enemies to see, while at the same time breaking lock-on weapons. It's not unique to the Sunderer though. The smokescreen is available for every ground vehicle in the game. In an attempt to make this video as short as possible, I won't showcase proximity radar and fire suppression. They're pretty straightforward though, and you shouldn't have any trouble figuring out how they work. Let's move on to the defense slot. You could say that the upgrades in the defense section are divided into two groups. The ones that protect your Sunderer and the ones that support others. We start by looking at the ones that help your team. When you equip the proximity repair system, you repair all nearby ally vehicles over time. The vehicle ammo dispenser, however, is the one I find to be most useful. When assaulting an enemy base, vehicles often run out of ammo. It can be pretty frustrating to try to find an ammo supply tower in the heat of battle. Keep in mind that both the repair and ammo upgrade also apply to air vehicles. If you want your Sunderer to survive as long as possible, it might be worth selecting one of the other upgrades in the defense slot. Explore the different options and find the one that suits your playstyle. We're closing in on the end of this guide, and before we go through the weapons, we'll take a quick look at the performance slot. Depending on whether you want to drive fast or have better control, you can either choose the Rival Combat Chassis or the Racer High-Speed Chassis. Last but not least, we take a closer look at the weapons. As you might have noticed, every Sunderer is equipped with a primary and secondary gun. To start off, you get two M20 Basilisks, which you can change if you so will. When you use the Basilisk, you get a good all-round weapon that can damage all vehicles and kill enemies. The downside is that it's a bit slow. In comparison, the M12 Cobalt shoots much faster, but does no damage to heavy armor. If you prefer explosions, the M40 Fury might be your weapon of choice. It fires 40mm grenades, which do damage to both armor and infantry. An alternative to the M40 Fury is the M60G Bulldog, which fires 60mm rounds with a large blast radius. Thanks for watching this guide. I hope you have a better understanding of the Sunderer. Until next time, have a good one.
Now you're a hero, you managed to beat the whole damn game.